Today we will discuss about the Agile, teamwork, and then other items that we didn't cover yet. So first one is Kanban Board. The Kanban Board is tracking the requirement. So we have a product backlog, then we have sprint backlog. So in the product backlog, we have a list of requirements. This is the backlog items. For example, we have three requirement. So the team, they think that they will do um, these items, and so when they are done with one task, then they transfer the ticket to another one in progress. And if it is done, then it will go to the testing team. When testing is done, then it goes to the done column. So basically, Kanban board, one of the tools that can be used to implement Kanban to manage work at a organizational level. Kanban boards visually depict work at various stages of a process using cards to represent work items and columns to represent each stage of the process. Cards are moved from left to right to show progress and to help coordinate teams performing the work. So they are saying that these are the tasks, and this task move from left to right in there. So first of all, we collect the requirement, any things that are in the backlog, and then the team members, each stage, they are different team. For example, in the testing phase, there are testers. And in the in progress, probably there are developers. In Todo, there may be analysts and other things, other teams. So each team, when they are done, they put the card in the team, and the team they work on that. When they are done, then they put on the other team. So it's like that. So in that way, each individual team, they can see what are the other teams doing, and anyone wants to know what task is on the progress or not. And sponsor stakeholders, product owner, they come and they can visualize the flow of the work, like, and they can also predict the bottlenecks. Bottlenecks means, for example, okay, is there any bottleneck? There is no bottleneck. So for example, in the testing phase, I put two other tickets in here. Okay, so bottlenecks means, for example, in the in progress, developers has done their work, but when they put the tickets to the tester, they are not handling that much of work as the developers are doing. That means the work is blocking. The work is storing one by one by one. That means it's kind of bottlenecks. If there is smooth flow, then there is no bottlenecks. So bottlenecks means the work are not going, like traffic jam. When there is accident, the traffic is started, the flow is intermittent. Yeah. So in the Kanban board, we can find out the progress of the project work. That's the thing. And then there are different types of peoples. We'll discuss how can we configure our teams with different types of peoples. So there are I-shaped people, then generalist, and then T-shaped people. So I-shaped means expert at one thing. They are expert, for example, they are expert on doing only the code. They don't know how to manage testing phase, or they don't know how to deploy or something like that. Only the code writing. So they are the I-shaped people, expert at one thing. Generalist, they are capable of a lot of things, but not expert in you can find the office and administrative officer, those who are helping the directors or assistant director. They can do lots of things, but they are not expert on any specific branch. They are the generalist, right? And T-shaped people, they are capable of a lot. They can do lots of things. At the same time, they are expert of one of them. So if you, this is the one expert, this is the generalist. If you blend together, it will be T-shaped people. So T-shaped people are, you will like, you will try to bring more T-shaped people in a group, because they are expert. At the same time, they can do different types of work, right? So I can say, for example, this type of people, maybe probably engineers. Engineers, they can do office work. At the same time, they are expert on a specific discipline. Yeah. So in here, I-shaped, T-shaped. There is no I-shaped. I don't think we don't need to. So deep expertise in one area, deep expertise in one area, very few skills or experience in other area, broad skills across many areas, creates bottlenecks quickly. You see, I-shaped people, they create bottleneck. So bottlenecks means, for example, developers, he can write only the code, but in the group, if some people's uh, getting sick or their absence because of something issue, these I-shaped people, they cannot handle their work, right? So in absence of them, there will be a creator bottlenecks. On the other hand, can step up to remove bottlenecks. This type of people, they are expert and they can do other things, so they can step up and take the other leads. In sensitive to downstream waste and impact, sensitive to down, I don't think that this one prevents planning flexibility or absorption or availability, help make planning. So these are not important. So these are important. Create bottlenecks and can step up, remove bottlenecks. Same, this is the, if you take this one I and this one is T. So this one only, this one functional area, discipline or specialty, and broad ability to work outside of core area. So we want T-shaped people. I mean, we want T-shape and I-shape, not like that only the I-shape people. It will create bottlenecks. And then next one is the cross-functional team. The cross-functional team means, for example, in the traditional functional area, we have finance, for example, finance, HR, engineers, they are in the silo group. Silo means the engineer need to cooperate with the HR, and HR has different team than engineers, right? So in the cross-functional means they can work as a one team. For example, in that team, you have finance team member, then developers, then HR or any other testers. So this is called cross-functional, representatives from various functions. So we, in the agile mindset, we like cross-functional team. And in the waterfall or driven, usually the team are functional. A cross-functional team, also known as multidisciplinary team or interdisciplinary team, is a group of people with different functional expertise. As I mentioned, different functional expertise working toward a common goal. It may include people from finance, marketing, operation, human resource department. So cross-functional means we are bringing different kind of people and they are expert on different things. Like in here, common in waterfall. Waterfall means plan-driven or traditional method, and agile means we are discussing about the agile. So waterfall, this type of method is not easy to change, but agile, well, they always welcome the change. So in the waterfall, there are silo teams. Silo means it's kind of some kind of let's say you can take this class as a silo. So silo means each people they live in a different area.
Group only.
Yeah, different group area. Like in here, developer team,
Got it. Yeah.
business analyst team, tester team. Then I'm not sure which team this one. These are the silo team. And if you want to communicate with other silo in that system, you need to first communicate with the director, and director pass the information manager, then different specialist, and then it comes to the bottom line. So each silo is different, and the silo representative is the director. For example, director of developer team or project manager of developer team, then this. But in the cross-functional team, they are represented as a Scrum A, B, C, D, and they are comprised of different kinds of expertise: developers, business analyst, tester, everything in there. Okay, so you will get some questions because right now the working work space is changing from in person or face to face to the virtual, right? Because of the COVID. So you'll get some questions from that, how to manage the virtual workplace. So there are two kind of method they are saying that when teams have geographically distributed members, the team decide how much of their workplace is virtual and how much is physical. For example, you can take an example like Microsoft. So Microsoft has an office in the India, then America. Then, for example, they have also in China or somewhere. So the workplace is distributed in different countries and different time zone. They call this sun follow rule. Sun follow means when sun rise, that geography people they started working, and when sunset, their working time is close. Then other people start working. For example, right now in India it's daytime, so it's time for their work, and it's not time for the USA people work. So it's kind of 24-hour service, but depend on the geography, the shift is different. Yeah. So they are saying the same thing. Technologies such as document sharing, video conferencing, other virtual collaboration tools help people collaborate remotely. So, this is the you may have different kind of scenario questions like in the virtual environment. How can you adopt it? Like Google Drive sharing, then Zoom video conferencing, or something like that. They will not mention any types of video conferencing like Microsoft Teams. They will not do that because they are preferring some other vendors to others. Geographically distributed teams need virtual workplace. In addition, consider getting the team together in person at regular intervals so the team can build trust and learn how to work. So they are saying that before going to virtual, Agile always recommend for the face-to-face communication in person workplace. So they are saying that before going to virtual, the team member needs to have at least a day in the face-to-face or in-person work so that they can communicate, they can build trust. The team member have a reliability with others. There will be a friendly environment. In the virtual, That's not the possible things, right? The virtual, we really talk about the work, not we don't have any. Sometimes if the video is turned off, then we cannot share our emotions, right? In the virtual, people may talk about some fun or jokes, but sorry, in the in person, but in the virtual, sometimes it's hard, right? Yeah. So the agile always prefer in person. Some techniques to consider for managing communication in dispersed teams are fishbowl window and remote pairing. So virtual workers, how can you manage communication with dispersed team? Dispersed team means, as I mentioned, China, India, Germany, France, USA, different teams, dispersed team they call. So how can you manage communication with the teams? They are saying that there are two techniques. One is called fishbowl, another is remote pairing. So fishbowl, you see, fishbowl means they are the people,
People are in the wallet.
right? They are the people, and they what there will be some kind of video conferencing, and it's a long-lived video conference link between the various location in which the team is dispersed. People start the link at the beginning of a workday and close at the end. So, for example, um, when India's people they're going to uh, finish their schedule, then they need to hand over the work to the USA group, right? So probably they have some kind of overshifting so that they can transfer the work. Or if some people they are working, they can communicate with the other developers. So they keep the live video conferencing to their schedule work like 8 hours. So it's a long lived video conference. So the other people they can interact. If there any issue, they can provide the inputs like that. And next one is the remote pairing. Remote pairing means one programmer they are doing the programming things, and there will be another person who uh, see who is checking or monitoring the code writing, and he can put the efficiency or any bugs on any things like that. So remote query, it can be virtual, it can be two-person in place. It depends on. So they are saying that in traditional pair programming, two programmers sit side by side in front of the same computer. Remote pair programmers share the same workplace remotely by using real-time collaboration tools. Yeah. So one is fishbowl, another is remote pairing, is the virtual communication tools technique. Okay, so we have a most important
Human
most
factor.
important graph. Yeah, this one. It's called Earn Value Management, EVM. You need to understand this one. You will get at least one or two questions from there. It's guaranteed. So, okay, this curve, this one is BAC, budget at completion. For example, um, a government agency, they say that they want to build a road, 2 miles road, and they make the budget $5 million. So initially, budget at completion is $5 million. They are expecting, right? And then, so for example, the project is 3 year. In here, the time is 3 year, and in here, the accumulated cost is $5 million. And uh, so this is the plan value. Plan value means um, when the project before starting, they are expecting that probably in the 1 year or 2 year, the work performance will be like that, and they will work $2.5 million. in the middle of the year. This is the plan. That means they are expecting that. It's kind of standard things. So they are saying that if there is $5 million in the middle of the timeline, they will work $2.5 million work, right? But in the actually, does it happen? No. There will be maybe they spend more money. So actual cost is always going to high, right? Actual cost goes high, then the work, this is the earned value. That means they are doing the work, this kind of work. They are doing the work like that. So it's not always as planned as we are expecting, right? So the actual cost, always cost goes high, right? Cost, actual cost is there, and then earned value means how much of work we have done. For example, I can say in here, I did 30% of work, but actually I need to do 50% of work, right? So there is gap. That means, for example, I say that in the middle of the year, this is 3 years, so this is 1.5 years. I need to complete 50% of the work. But when I check, I found that I complete only 30% of work. So there is variation, right? 20% variation. And this variation, they say that it is schedule variable variance, SB, schedule variance. And then plan value means how I expected when I start work, 50%. I need to complete 50%. But actually I earn only 30%, right? Earn value is 30%. And when I calculate the cost, I saw that my cost is in that things, my cost should be $2.5 million, but I spent $3 million. Actually, I spent $3 million, right? So there is a cost difference as well. This is called cost variance. That means what I actually spend and what I have planned for the spending. The difference is called cost variance, right? So one is called cost variance and another is called schedule variance. So, and then if I spend at that rate, it will give a projection how much the money that I need to complete the project. It's called estimation at completion. Estimation, forget. In that completion, estimate to complete, estimate at completion. Sorry, estimation at completion. So actually, I budget for $5 million, but after when I finish the project, I found that it goes to $7 million. It's called estimate at completion. So there is a gap between the budgeted completion and estimated completion. It's called variance at completion, VSC. And at the same time, you can see that in the time, I am expecting that it should be complete 3 years, but it takes 4 years. So there is a projected project delay. There is a project delay, right? So this is the time, and in the time we have this variance. Okay, so in here we have budget at completion, PSC. It's called what you plan to spend for 100% complete on the project. So BSC is the total plan cost. Then plan value, this is the plan value. We plan for it. What you plan to spend on what you plan to be completed. Plan value is the total budget cost multiplied percent completed plan. For example, total is $5 million, and you are saying that in that time frame you complete 50% of work. That means 5 million multiply 50%. How much you completed? It's called plan value. And actual cost of work performed. is the summation of total cost, actual cost, this one. And earned value, same, PSC multiply how much percentage of what you have done. So plan value and then schedule, earned value is the percentage, they will mention it. Okay, so from here, earned value formula, cost variance, as we mentioned, cost variance, it means PV variance. It is EV minus AC. EV, EV minus AC. How much? So they are saying that if this is negative, when it will be negative? For example, you spend $3 million, but you actually work $2 million. That means the negative will be minus $1 million, right? So that means minus is over budget. That means you are spending more what you already have done. So minus is not good. Plus is good. Plus means you are earning more value than you are spending. Similarly, cost schedule variance, it is EV minus PV. And again, same. If this is minus, then behind schedule, and if this is plus, then ahead of schedule. So you see that all of the variance, EV is they are considering the EV in the first line, right? Yeah, EV. That means actually EV means what you are doing right now, how much value it is, right? So it's more important. We are giving, if this is positive, we are in the if this is greater than the other parameters, we are in the safe line. And if it is lower, then we are not in the safe line, we are in the danger zone. Same cost performance index. So there is cost related. And as we mentioned in here, you see actual cost. This is cost related terms, right? And EV means earned value. It is sorry, planned value. Planned value is related with the schedule, some kind of schedule. It's not the cost. So in here, cost performance index, EV divided by actual cost. And in here, schedule, EV divided by planned value. You see, again, AC, actual cost. This is cost related terms. And PV is kind of schedule related task, plan value, schedule. So when you make the cost performance index CPI, it will focus on the AC, and SPI, it is focusing on the PV. SPI means it is schedule, right? S means schedule, C means cost. So cost is related to actual cost and SP related to PV. And EV is common. So for example, we'll give some example later. An estimated completion, EAC. EAC equals PSC divided by CPI, cost performance index. So CPI means how you are spending, which rate. If I saying that you are spending 10% of rate, so in here, if the budget is $3 million, you can expect in the next 2 years how much the budget will be, right? If it is going that in the linear things, you can expect. So this is the index term, CPI. So if you can calculate ESC based on the indexing here, based on the slope. So it is BSC divided by CPI. And estimate to complete ETC. It is ETC. It is the ESC minus AC. Like in here, estimate to complete. This is the ESC, and this is the AC. So this is how much you need to complete the project. So for example, in the middle of the year, you calculate that you already spent $3 million, and you calculate that the total budget will be probably $7 million. So how much you need right now? $4 million, right? So estimate to complete, you need $4 million to complete the project. You got it? Estimate to complete. How much more to finish? Then variance at completion, BSC. This is the BSC. So this is a BSC minus ESC, variance at completion. Okay, so same, this is same formula as we mentioned here. This is the same things. And this is the most important one. I found two CPI and SPI. So you have to remember this formula. So for example, if your actual cost get increased, your CPI index will be less than 1, right? And if your actual cost, wrong information, I think. So CPI here, actual cost, if it is goes increase, then your CPI get less than 1. If it is going to decrease, then your CPI will be goes above the 1, right? So we will count less than or less than 1 equals 1, greater than 1. So greater than 1 always good for us, and less than 1 it's not good. Both CPI and SPI, less than 1 is not good. Equals or greater than 1 is good, right? So in here, for example, CPI less than 1 and SPI less than 1. So they are saying that it is over budget. That means you are spending more and behind schedule. It's not good situation, less than 1. And then in here, this one, SPI 0 and CPI less than 1. That means you are on the budget, on the schedule, right? On the schedule, but over the budget. And same in here, SPI greater than 1, CPI less than 1. That means you are ahead of schedule and over budget, right? Same in here, CPI equals to 1 and SPI less than 1. So less than 1 means it is behind schedule, and CPI 1 means on the budget. Yeah. Similarly here, SPI 0, CPI 1. Should be 1, not 0. They make a mistake. SPI equals to 1. On budget, on schedule. This is the ideal condition. SPI equals to 1, CPI equals to 1. So it is ideal condition. In here, SPI greater than 1. That means ahead of schedule and on the budget. And this scenario, CPI is greater than 1. That means it is under the budget, and then behind schedule. And this one is on schedule, under the budget. And this one is ahead of schedule, under the budget. I think you got it, right?
Yeah, kind of.
So always remember that if it is greater than 1, we always appreciate it. Greater than 1 means it is ahead of schedule, under the budget. Under the budget, not over the budget. Over means
SPI is greater than 1.
SPI greater than 1 means
it's over budget.
Behind SPI greater than 1 means it is ahead of schedule.
Yes, ahead of schedule for sure.
And CPI greater than 1 means
CPI greater than 1 means under budget.
Under budget, yeah. And if SPI equals 1 and CPI equals 1, it means
everything is on budget and on schedule.
On schedule. And if CPI less than 1 and SPI less than 1 means
under budget.
Behind schedule, over budget.
Over budget, behind schedule.
Over budget, behind schedule, yeah. You'll get some question from there. So
yeah, when I see the quiz, I always see one question here like this.
Yeah. So they will give you this index information, CB, AC. Then you will calculate and determine it is
formulas are must.
Yeah, they will give you this information, and you have to find out CPI, SPI, and then after CPI, SPI, and then you have to determine which one is this one, right? Okay, then variance analysis. So variance analysis means we have schedule variance, cost variance, variance at completion, as you see in here. Schedule variance, then cost variance in here, and another is variance at completion, BSC, right? So BSC means the budgeted variation at completion means BSC minus ESC, and this one means EV minus CV, and schedule means this is EV minus PV, right? So they define this one. So we I put a example in here, but we can discuss some other example later. So in here they are saying that you have a project to be completed in 12 months. The budget of the project is $100,000. So 12 months, that means it takes 1 year, and the budget BAC, budgeted completion, it is $100,000. 6 months have passed. That means the project already passed half of its life cycle, right? So if it is past 6 months, that means it is the PB is 50%.
Right.
Right, 50%. So how can we calculate PB? We are saying that PB equals to BAC, budgeted completion. We already have $100,000. So $100,000 multiplied
completed
50%. Okay, so you will get the PB,
500,000.
$50,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, 50% of 50,000. You have spent $60,000. So you're planning that we will spend 50,000, but actually we spent how much? Actually we spent how much? $60,000, right? They're saying that you have spent $60,000. That means in here, we are planning to spend $50,000. Actually, we spent $60,000, right? You are getting that?
Yeah, I'm getting it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're supposed to actually spend only 50,000, but we have already spent 60,000, 10,000.
Yeah. But on closer examination, you find that only 40% of the work has been completed so far. That means you complete only the 40%. That means your earned value is the 40%, right?
Right.
40% of what? 40% of this amount. 40% of $100,000. Yeah, 40% of $100,000. That means you did only $40,000 worth of work, right? That means $40,000. This is $50,000. This is $60,000.
Right.
So you already got everything. So if they ask SB, what is SB? 50,000 minus 40,000, schedule variance, 10,000. If they ask cost variance, the cost variance will be 40,000 minus 60,000. It will be minus 20,000. Okay. So minus is not good, right? Minus is bad. So you always check that if the EV is less than all of them, that the project status is not good. That means you earn only 40,000 worth of work, but you spend 60,000 worth of $60,000. So that means it's not a good health, right? You have to do more work. So
under budget, behind schedule, and over budget.
Right. Yeah. You see, this one 0.67. So you can also find this. So it is over budget and behind the schedule, right? You got it. And ESC is the this is the ESC. ESC means BSC minus CPI. You already got the CPI from here, and you find out that although we thought that the project will complete $100,000, but later we found out that it needs to be complete $149,000. That means we need additional $50,000 here, right? Okay, so another thing is that TCPI. TCPI means to complete performance index. Did I mention it? Okay, TCPI means so in here you are saying that we actually planned for $100,000, but we found that it needs $150,000 additional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, additional. So that means variation and completion is $50,000, right? Yeah, and they are saying that TCPI, to complete performance index. That means in order to complete this amount of work, how much we need to perform. So it has an formula, this one, BAC minus EV divided by ESC minus AC, TCPI.
So what's the full form of TCPI you said?
It is called to complete performance index. To complete performance index. That means it kind of index thing. Index means, for example, you are in here. So how much you need to perform in order to achieve this amount of work. Yeah, it's called TCPI, to complete performance index. So TCPI formula is this one, 0.67. So CPI, SPI, we told that if it is greater than 1, the project health condition is good, right?
Good, yes.
TCPI is opposite CPI, SPI. If it is less than 1, it is good condition. But if it is greater than 1, it's bad condition. Again, remember that CPI, SPI, if it is greater than 1, it is in good condition. But TCPI is opposite. And if it is less than 1, it is in good condition. Yeah. Okay. So we already read about the burn down chart and burn up chart. It's the important one, right? To understand that this one as well. So you may get some questions like drag and drop. They will give A, B, C, D. Like in here, this is the remaining effort. So in here, this point, we are planning to complete around 160 point, but we actually worked less, and after work we found that we have 200 point needs to be complete. So that means it is behind schedule. Sorry, behind schedule. That means we are not completing as much as we planned, right? So they will give you A, B, C, D options: ahead of schedule, behind schedule, on schedule. Like in here, you are on schedule, right? You planned for around 110 points, and you are also working at 110 points. That means you are on schedule. And in here, you see that you plan to complete for here 70 points, but you complete more point, right? That means you are ahead of schedule.
They will give us this chart, and based on this chart, there'll be questions.
Yeah, they will give you A, B, C, D, and they will give you option that which point is on schedule, ahead of schedule, behind schedule. You need to understand that what is this one. They will also give you like that type of information that this chart define remaining effort, complete work, something like that. Similarly, this one, as I mentioned, ahead of schedule, behind schedule. Yeah. So from the Agile, we have some tailoring things. Let me the books. Okay. In here, you see attributes for of successful agile teams. How can you be successful? So in here, it's saying that this is the attribute, this is the goal. We need dedicated people, those who are dedicated for the project, 100% dedicated. For example, you take an intern. He can only committed to your project only 50% of the work. Is he dedicated? No, he's not dedicated. So we need 100% efforted people. So that's why it's called successful agile teams. You need to remember that. You will get some scenario-based question based on that. So dedicated people goal is that increased focus and productivity. A small team, fewer than 10 people. So this is important thing. You may get some question like that. How many people with how many people you can make an agile team? So it's they are saying that less than 10, but it's preferable 5 to 6 people. If they a small team, you can manage it. You can manage in the micro level. But it is if it is bigger than 10, then you need to break down the team to agile team. So it will be Scrum, Scrum, Scrum A, Scrum B, right? For example, you have um, 20 people. So you said that Scrum A, 10 people, Scrum B, 10 people. So you are managing 2 teams. Okay, so a small team, it is easy to maintain. Then cross-functional team members develop and deliver often, deliver finished value as an independent team, integrate all the work activities to deliver finished work, provide feedback. Then co-location or ability to manage any location challenges. So as we mentioned that face-to-face or in-person workplace is good than the virtual one. So they are saying that it's called co-location. How can the goal is that better communication, improve team dynamics, knowledge sharing, reduce cost of learning, able to commit to work with each other. Yeah. The mixed team of generalist and specialist, as we mentioned. Specialist means I-shaped people, and generalist means T-shaped people. So they are saying that we need mix of the team, not any. So they are saying that specialists provide dedicated expertise, and generalists provide flexibility of who does what. Team brings their specialist capabilities and often become generalizing specialist with a focused specialty plus breadth of experience, multiple skills. So they are saying that specialists, they are dedicated for their expertise and it's very valuable. And generalist specialist, they bring lots of multiple skills. At the same time, they also focus on their special area. Stable work environment depend on each other to deliver agreed upon approach to complete the work, simplify team cost. So these are the successful team: dedicated team, cross-functional team, then co-location, then mixed team of generalists, specialists, stable work environment. These are the goals. You don't need to read it, but if you have time, you can read it. Okay, so Agile team roles. So these are the roles, and there are lots of things in here. I-shape, T-shape people, as I mentioned. Uh, so in the team structure, they are saying that we need some team members. Those are 100% dedicated for the endeavor. There is an example. You may get this type of example in the exam. So I want to read all the follow the sun, as we mentioned. When the sun rises, people start working. When the sun sets, people stop working, right? In one large US-based financial institution, there was a program with a set of teams. They are mentioning that several locations. throughout the India, and one large dispersed team. And so this is the team: analyst, developers, tester, and they are following the sun practice. The team members conducted daily stand-up meeting. That means this is Agile stand-up meeting, and used webcam to include all team members. Key roles: analyst, product owner, designer, development leaders in the world come in early to answer any question from their India-based team members and help to resolve any impediments. As I mentioned, that the two team members has some kind of overlapping so that they can transfer their work to other team. So they are saying that US-based team, they comes early and they answer any question.
From the India-based.
As the product started getting larger, more funding come through, they decided to break into 5 smaller teams. To do this, they decided to build co-located, distributed teams in various locations. They made the decision to build across cross-functional, co-located teams in each of these locations, consisting of developers and testers. Did you get this point?
Yes.
So that means co-located means they are building teams in the India with developers and tester. Instead of going through all the virtual, India, there will be office location, and there will be 5 people, developer and tester in the India. In the US, also same. People will work in the office location, but throughout the US and India, they will collaborate through the virtually. Yeah. They also had a core set of analysts based in the 2 US locations who were their US-based product manager, product owners, then work with each other of the teams respectively. Although they had some structure in place where they conducted product reviews as an entire program, most of the other activities were conducted at a team level based on that. So this is kind of virtual, agile, hybrid, co-located team. So this kind of team, you will get some scenario questions like that. That how can you manage effective communication? They may say that fishbowl window or remote query, or there will be different terms in there. This is this term, right? Okay. It's in, and then dedicated team, that means those who are 100% of the team. And
we get 1 minute for one question, right? 1 minute for one question to read.
So you will get 210 minutes, and there will be 3 sections. Each section consists of 60 questions. So 3 set means it will be 180 questions. Total 180 questions. Total time is 210 minutes, and total set will be 3 sections. So in the first, after complete of first section, you will get 10 minutes. After complete second section, you will get 10 minutes. And after complete third section, you are done. And the 210 minutes, it is a cumulative. For example, they will not give any specific time for the section 1. If you take more time, you can take it, but it will give you more pressure for the next 2 sections. So my suggestion for each section, you can take around 65 to 70. Yeah, 65 or 70. Or if you can reduce your time, then you can have more flexibility for the next section. But try to answer all of the questions. It will give you more chance. Okay, team workplace, as we mentioned, fishbowl and remote query.
Give example in my place.
Sorry.
Oh man.
You'll get it when you practice mock test, you'll get it.
Yeah, of course, yes.
It seems right now, it seems the syllabus is huge, but after
Once I
one,
start like practicing the questions as well, I think I'll get confidence.
you can also complete your exams through online from your home. There are two versions. One is online version and one is in person in the testing center. Both are okay if you feel that I feel comfortable in front of my computer, everything, so you can do it. And in the exam environment, you will feel less distraction, less problems on there. Sometimes in our work computer, you need to install different add-ons or different things.
Yeah.
Also, your internet connection can be interrupted. Probably your family members also give some kind of disturbance. But if you feel safe, you can work from, give the exam from home. There are pros and cons. You can do it. Also, in the work, if you take the exam from home, they will not give you, they will not allow you for any paper, any pen, but instead of that, they will give you screen calculator, in a minimize calculator in the screen
In person.
uh, for the online.
I mean, it's
But
online.
if you go to the in person, they will give you pencil and a paper. If you prefer pencil and paper, you can do. I mean, both are okay. If you again for the online one, you can take anytime. I mean, you can take the exam anytime, like in the morning, evening, night. But in the in person, they have two shift, morning and afternoon session. Yeah. Okay, for the overcoming organizational silo, as we mentioned, organizational silo, there will be cross team members. And okay, now the implementer. So we already discussed this one, like different retrospective, what we do, then daily stand-up meeting, backlog refinement, preparation, backlog refinement, then daily stand-up. These are the question. What did I complete since the last stand-up? What I'm planning? What are the impediment? Then demonstration. That means sprint review. They call also demonstration. Then yeah, these are not important. So spikes is the important spikes. So spikes means it's called time boxed research or experiment. Time boxed means it is fixed in time. You can take like a week or 3 or 4 days. Like it is defined. So spikes usually instead of doing a full length of sprint or anything new, first you can experiment using some prototypes thing. Prototypes means you are guessing that this feature will be working. So instead of doing a lot of work on that, you can test it for 3 or 4 days, and when you're successful, then you can implement for the next sprint. So beginning of the sprint, there is an called spikes. So these spikes, it is an activity things. It's not the requirement.
Mm-hmm.
But when they develop the product backlog, they put the spikes in the product backlog. So they can test it, they can make the experiment. If there any change, they can adapt it. They're saying that spikes are useful for learning and may be used in circumstances such as estimation, acceptance criteria definition, understanding the flow of a user action through the product. Spikes are helpful when the team needs to learn some critical technique or functional element. It's kind of say an experimental things that will it work or will it not. They will learn some things in a short time. So instead of falling at the end of the month, they can fall in start of the week. Yeah, it's called spice. Okay, and then troubleshooting, we don't need it. Then this is called pain point. Pain point means sometimes the requirement or the purpose of the mission is not clear. Sometimes product owner uh, they come unclear requirement. So unclear purpose or mission for the team, and then unclear working agreement for the team, unclear team context, unclear requirement, poor user experience, inaccurate estimation, unclear work assignment, team is struggling with obstacles, work delay, overrun, defect, work is not complete, technical debt, uh, degraded code quality. Sorry, one called refactoring, agile modeling, pervasive testing, automated code. This kind of technical debt. So it's like you are using poor types of quality of code. For example, one one code can respond the user needs within a millisecond, and another code it takes 1 second. So it is poor quality of code, right? It is called technical debt. So that means this is kind of pain things. You do not know the requirement. Then there are inaccurate estimation. For example, you are thinking that probably the work will take 100 story point, but actually it took 300 story point. So that means there is poor inaccurate estimate. Okay, too much. So this kind of things, just read it. These are not that much important, but if you have things in your silo teams instead of cross-functional team, these are also pain point, because as I mentioned, silo team you need to coordinate with the team lead, and it will go through. It takes time. Impossible stakeholder demands, rush or wait, uneven workflow, false state of time. Okay. So measurements in agile projects.
I think we should stop here.
Yeah, we can stop. I understand that. So in the agile, how can you measure burn up chart, burn down chart, history points, right?
Yeah.
And working software is the uh, main criteria. Yeah, so for the chapter 5, we already cover most of them.
Okay.
Burn out, burn down chart, burn up chart. So
Yeah.
chapter 5, we are done. Kanban board, we already done for the chapter 5. We'll go chapter 6 next time. Yeah, we'll go chapter 6.
Organizational consideration for project agility.
Yeah, we already cover most of the agile types things. Yeah, but we are going because thing. Let me stop there.